Nuttycast.
Welcome back to the Nuttycast, Season 2. We are live on location. Well, actually, it's not going to be live. I mean, I'm live right now, but by the time you listen to this, it won't be live. On location at the R5 Annex with one Joel Limbauan of On a Limb Productions. So Joel, in addition to being a what I would call a super consumer of our honey roasted peanut butter product, also wrote, directed, filmed, and produced both of our Nutty Novelties commercials. The first of which we were wearing masks because it was 2020, and it was awesome. And the more recent one of which stars one Doug Moister, also featured in Season 2 of the Nuttycast. Hopefully his episode will be okay because we did it outside and apparently we had a lot of audio issues. But yeah, welcome Joel. Thanks so much for joining me today. So tell me, Joel, what is this On a Limb Productions and where did this idea come from?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So On a Limb Productions is what we say is it's a video production company that goes out on a limb to tell the stories that need to be told. And what that really means for us is that we're trying to go find stories that, you know, might not necessarily have the opportunity for someone to come make a high quality video about them. So, you know, nonprofits that maybe are on the smaller side, we do a lot of work with churches and small businesses that maybe just are starting out with video and haven't really had a chance to promote themselves in that way. So we go out and find those stories, and that's really what we're passionate about telling.
Very cool. This next question is brought to you by Nutty Novelties. Dubai chocolate pistachio butter. Try one today. So the Dubai chocolate pistachio butter that we make is gluten-free. It's got delicious, of course, rich pistachios and dark chocolate, and has a sprinkled layer of texture of crushed pistachios and more dark chocolate. Pick one up today. Enjoy.
That sounds amazing. I don't know why I can't have some right now.
Oh, I should have brought
could have
some.
been a testimonial.
Yeah, it is brand new. We just literally just released it today, which today's March 17th. I don't know when this is going to make it live. We might not have any.
If it ever does, I don't know.
Oh boy, uh-oh. I should have thought about that. That's okay. If not Dubai chocolate pistachio, find something else on nuttynovelties.com.
Highly recommend the 5-pound honey roasted
5-pound honey roasted,
yes.
baby. Yes. Every, I would say 4 to 6 weeks, you probably go through one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joel, you've had this business now for how long?
For 12 years.
12 years, really?
Yeah. 12 years in January.
Is that right? I didn't realize. So we started really close to the same time. So I was 2012 technically with the Nut Hut.
Okay.
And then, so did you start in 13?
In 13,
14?
yeah, January 13.
Oh man, bud.
I know.
Yeah, that's
we're,
awesome.
we're old.
We are old. So I know you had gone to Biola in LA, came back home. Did you start the business pretty much right away after being
yeah, pretty much. So my last year at Biola, you know, I was out in LA and realized I didn't really want to stay out there. There was a certain girl who was in PT school here at Arcadia that wasn't interested in coming west. So I figured I would come back home, which ended up being a good call.
Oh, it's the one you're married to?
The one I'm married to, yes.
Oh, good.
Yes,
That
that would have been really awkward. Yeah.
It's like, why would you even bring that up?
Right. So as I was kind of finishing up school, I was actually talking to a really good friend, mentor, Dave Peters, who I understand might also be making an appearance on this season.
We are interviewing Dave Peters later today.
Nice.
Later today. Very cool.
And so we were chatting, and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do after I'm done with this. And he was the one that suggested. He was like, you know, my wife Kathy and I, we just started. You know, we have a video production company that we sort of run ourselves, and you know, I think that there's a big enough market and a niche for you that you could kind of do the same thing. And so I really credit Dave for, you know, sort of giving me the seed of the idea that I could run my own business.
That's really cool. That kind of reminds me of, for me, that was Caleb Torres, who also we interviewed a few weeks ago too for the Nuttycast. It's interesting how people a few steps ahead of you in small business can be like so influential, and it's like this is my whole life now,
Right,
thanks to
yeah.
like this conversation that I had with this guy
Yeah.
at this time.
And I really appreciate, especially with Dave, is that, like he was basically telling me to become a competitor in some ways, right?
Wow.
I mean, not really. We have very different niches, and and we get to collaborate, way more than we would be in any kind of competition. But like he was confident enough in what he was doing and what I was doing, and saw potential in me that he was willing to say, hey, like you should go out and try this.
Yeah, that's really
So.
cool. I always feel like I wouldn't really classify myself as like a starter. Like some people are like really good at like starting things.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like the starting was really difficult, and I don't. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not maybe super opposed to it, but I don't want to start something again. Like
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
want to go
Yeah.
back to those days. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
like when you look back in like the early years, like what was like the hardest part about like getting started?
I mean, the hardest part was just kind of like trying to figure out if I was going to be able to make enough money to like have it be my full-time gig. I was really fortunate in that after I came back from California, my parents let me move back in at home while I was working on paying off my student loans. And they were really gracious in not charging me rent during that time either. So like I really had, a really strong safety net. To be able to kind of take the risks to say like, okay, I can give this a year, I can give it 2 years, and not have to worry about like the bills to keep a roof over my head. So between Dave and my parents, I mean, they were really the ones that allowed me to get started.
Yeah, that reminds me of part of my story too. Early on was like Mary, thankfully my wife was working full time and had great benefits, and I felt the same way. I felt like I had permission to like experiment with this very risky, in some ways like silly thing of like making peanut butters and trying to sell as many of them as we could. But yeah, like things like that can be like such a tremendous advantage.
Yeah.
It's something that like I've come to really be grateful for as I've gotten older, because I'm like, you know what, not everybody has that advantage.
Yeah.
And even me in my own life, like I wouldn't have had that. Like I don't have that advantage now. Like we have 3 little kids,
right,
and like
yeah.
it's all great, and but it's so different. Like I'm
Yeah.
not starting a business now.
Right.
Like there's no way.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would say I feel very much the same as you. Like I don't feel like a starter, and I also don't really feel like much of a risk taker.
I'm not. Yeah, same.
So-
Very conservative.
Right. So like at this point, I'm really grateful that I'm able to be where I am, because I mean it wasn't until year 5, 6 that it started to feel stable enough to be like, okay, like this can be my primary and my only source of income.
Yep. So sort of a related question. Did you feel called to entrepreneurship, or did you feel like led, maybe on like a higher level, did you feel called to this?
Yeah. Well, so I think I felt maybe called to making videos and to telling stories. I feel like that seems a little different to me than being called to entrepreneurship. Because I really love doing that storytelling work, right? I'm not super interested in like growing my business to the point where I'm just a manager and not actually doing the video work, like I want to grow, but I always want to have my hands like on the camera, right? Or like on the edit. So like I'm not necessarily looking to build an empire, but I'm looking to tell some really good stories.
That's cool. So is there anything that you're like really excited about that maybe you're working on right now or coming up that you might want to share about?
Yeah. So there's an organization that I've done some work with in the past that basically what they do is they help people with disabilities find jobs, right? Like they match up people with all sorts, like whether it's physical or intellectual or whatever, to jobs that will accommodate them. And they have this award ceremony every year where they essentially like pick out kind of top employees, top people that they've helped find jobs, and tell their stories. So I'm gonna in the next couple of weeks kind of get to travel all over the state and capture these people doing these jobs and flourishing really in these jobs where a lot of them maybe didn't feel like they would be able to be, productive members of society because they were being shut out. But this organization really has helped them, find, in some cases, a purpose and a calling. And so I get to kind of tell those stories, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that is so cool. And it's so cool that you get to be like a small part of that for a short time and get to like broadcast that story. And because people want to hear about that.
Honestly,
we hear so much bad news all the time. Like something like that is like so encouraging. It's like, oh, look, there are good people doing really good things out there.
Right. And that's really my favorite part of what I get to do, is that I get to kind of just like drop into all these different organizations and see that there are people that are doing amazing things all over the place every day. And I can, help them broadcast that out to people. And I get to see that in such a wide range of, fields and areas, and the diversity of what I get to do is one of my favorite parts about it.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous of that part sometimes. Most of what I do is the same thing, kind of on repeat over and over. But then sometimes I get to do a Nuttycast interview, and I'm like, this is a blast.
You're getting a taste of what I get to do every day.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so you're a dad now too. Mm-hmm. Your daughter is a year old.
She's a year old. Yeah, she'll be 15 months tomorrow.
Oh my goodness, and she's the cutest little thing. So what's like your work-life balance like, and how has that changed since Junia has come on the scene?
There was no balance before, and there's less now. Is that fair to say?
That's a great answer.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about this question. I would say that, well, for one, I really just like, I love what I do for work. And so like, when I think about work-life balance, like, I feel like it sounds bad to say like work sort of is my life, but like, it's not that I feel.
It does sound bad to say.
Well, but I really do enjoy it. Like I really do. Like when I'm thinking about work, like it doesn't feel like I'm, doing something less than living, I guess. Right.
Oh boy.
But
that's well said.
One thing that I feel like having a toddler right now, is helping me learn how to do is like be able to try to be present in whatever I'm doing, more intentionally, right? So like before Junia, Kelly and I could be on the couch at the end of a day, and I could be thinking about or like writing emails or like whatever, not really being present with whatever we're doing, right? Toddler doesn't let you do that. No. Because who knows what they're getting into when you turn your back for a second, right? Yep. So I'm finding that I need to be present with Junia. I need to be present with Kelly when we're doing that. And because of that, I have so much less time for work that I really need to be present at work when I'm doing that. Yeah. So, I don't know if it feels balanced, but at least it feels like I'm needing to be more intentional with what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
Yeah, that's good. For me, like I try to be as rigid as I can, and Mary's actually very gracious with me with this, which I really appreciate. But like, I try to leave that like 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. window as like family time. I try to have my phone plugged in off of my person because otherwise I'm just looking at it all the time. But yeah, I'm not always perfect at it. Sometimes there are legit like nutty emergencies, I call them, where it's like, yeah, somebody needs an answer on something like right then. And for those moments, I'm like, I don't know. I'm still trying to find the balance, really, because it's like there's some stuff that like I have to be available for. But at the same time, like my kids, as much as they drive me crazy, like they're only going to be this age once. And like I don't want to miss it. Even this very morning, Raiden had his football. I was like, "Dad, you want to go outside and throw the football before work?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "Yes, but no." I was like, "I got this interview with Joel, buddy. How Joel
Raiden.
is."
I guess you can send me your therapy bill.
Which is like, I don't know. I want to be as present for my kids and my family as I can, but I'm not as awesome as I thought I would
hard.
naturally be.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Well, because I mean, I think like I was saying earlier about like, I don't like work. My work sort of is my life. Like,
Yeah.
like I really like, yeah. There are things that need to be done, and there's things that I really like want to be doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're not going to do it perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Favorite question. I know you're a man of faith. Obviously, we are friends from church before any of this. How does your faith inform your life as a business owner, and what might be different about On a Limb Productions if it wasn't for your faith?
Yeah. Well, so in some ways, I think if it wasn't for my faith, Online Productions might not exist.
Yeah.
I got my start doing video at the church that I grew up at, a church that Dave Peters worked at for a while, and that's kind of where we met. And I helped run cameras during the services, and Dave saw potential in me and took me under his wing and kind of taught me, took me a little bit deeper into the video world. And from there, that's where I decided I wanted to go to school for this, and then everything after that. So, who knows if I would have developed that interest if I wasn't a part of that community that kind of fostered that. But also, I think about how when I started, there was so much trust that had to happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had a very strong safety net, but I also just had to like trust that God was going to provide work, provide enough work, provide the right kinds of clients that would get me to a place where my company could grow to a point that I could sustain it. So yeah, like for both of those things, if I didn't have that faith, I don't think that I would have stepped out to do that. Like I had that interest, stepped out to do it, had enough trust to continue to do it until it became something sustainable. But as far as like how I run my business now, one of the things that we used to say at Renew a lot, that's the church that we both go to, is that we're partnering with God in the renewal of all things. Right? And so when I'm looking for stories and looking for clients that I might really like be able to build a ongoing relationship with, or be able to tell like a really good story, I'm looking for clients who are looking to tell stories of that renewal, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not that is explicitly connected to Jesus, or if they would say it that way.
Yeah, right.
Like the organization that helps people with disabilities that I was talking about earlier is not, it's a state organization, right?
Gotcha.
Like they're not really affiliated with any kind of religion, any kind of creed or anything like that. But I would say that the work that they're doing is part of that, like helping to bring renewal to all things.
Yeah, totally.
So
yeah.
So like those are the stories that I want to highlight, right? Those are the people that I really want to work with. And so when I'm going out on a limb to tell those stories,
Nicely done.
that that's kind of a rubric that I use, whether or not consciously or unconsciously, but that's kind of how I've tried to build my business.
You made me think of another quote that we like to say at Renew. This is the Renew community of Lansdale, by the way.
Not the other one.
Not the other one. Which I thought you were going to say, which is we're all missionaries cleverly disguised as blank. So for you, that may be a videographer. For me, it might be a nut butterer, small business owner in the community, or like whatever. But like I think about that all the time. Again, I don't do it perfectly all the time. Something I want to do, but like we can bring. I mean, missionaries bring the good news, right? So like we can bring the good news in our own way, in our own regular lives, and like that's something I strive to do. I don't know, definitely don't do it perfectly, but I didn't prep you with this one because it just came to me. Well, I'll preface it by saying like this is something. Community dinner. Community dinner is something that like honestly, I've only gone a handful of times, but it is like, so it's Saturday. What is it? One Saturday a month.
It's the first
right?
Saturday of the month. Yeah.
And you guys provide a meal for whoever's interested in a free meal, and it's like a small picture of heaven. Every time I'm there, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. This is a small picture of heaven. It's like just people eating and just talking and just hanging out for a couple hours on a Saturday evening, and like a lot of these people need a free meal. Like let's be honest. Like a lot of these people need a free meal, and like it's just such a joy to see it and be a part of it. And first of all, I'll give you a ton of credit for going out on a limb and putting that in motion several years ago.
And I need to give a lot of credit to, since Junia was born, we've had to sort of back off our personal involvement a little bit, kind of a lot with community dinner, just with her being a baby.
Yeah.
But the team that runs it still now is amazing. I mean,
Yes.
they're so faithful
Yes.
in what they're doing. And it's not even just for people who need a meal, like a physical meal, but also like we also say it's also for people who need someone to eat with. Right. I think that, there are a lot of people that come where it's like, yeah, they have food at home. Like they know where their next meal is coming from, but like they, maybe they're older and they don't really have people around that, are easy to get together with. Like it's a place not just to feed, stomachs, but also to feed souls, to build community. So,
Man, that's well put. But yeah. One last shout out for Joel. He made our 2 commercials, and they were awesome. And I know that's something you've said, like you'd love to do more of that. So if you own a small food business or any kind of business locally, and you're looking for, let's face it, fairly affordable. I don't know what else is out there, but like we could afford it, thankfully, and really, really high quality, well done stuff that makes us look like we spent a fortune on it. Highly recommend Joel and On a Limb Productions. I assume we can see more of your work at onalimbproductions.net.
.com.
.com.
I'm a legit business here. Yeah. No offense to anyone who uses .net.
Yeah, careful there. So that concludes our episode with Joel Limbauan of On a Limb Productions. And as always, stay nutty.